Starts at 7. What time were you looking at?
6 to 8.
It looks like a couple of weekends. Well,
Homecoming will be here early. They'll be here early.
Yeah, they the tailgate.
We'll reevaluate that. That's not a problem. Yes, Ms. Price.
Yes, ma'am. I have something to add to. I believe that's conference week for the teachers, and we're here most evenings till 5 or 6 on Tuesday, Thursday, and that's a very long week for us too.
Yes.
We want to support you, but
Right. I saw that was conference. Would you guys, we weren't sure if you were willing to do more of a Saturday, or what kind of a day would work out best for you.
I don't know. I think we'd have to talk with our grade levels and teams, but
Okay. I'm open for that. That's great. Anyone else? Yes.
A couple general questions.
Sure.
I don't mean for this to come out negative, but just, we came from overseas, 8 years. And having been through the elementary school system with our little one, our older one, he's 18 now, and now going through it again, we haven't been part of any PTAs. When you're overseas, there is no PTA. It's a parent-teacher organization, like a booster club local to that school. Coming here, I see $350 is going to dues alone.
Yes.
For national and for Arkansas.
Yes.
That's half of that shelter you were just talking about. What does being a member of the national organization that you got to pay dues higher up to do for the school versus being your own booster club in a sense?
Being a part of the national and the state level, they do a lot of advocacy. I think a lot of people don't understand is that PTA was actually one of the people that was in charge of getting school lunches in the schools. And that started, yes, years ago. But they're always advocating. Right now, one of the biggest things is for juvenile detentions. They're working on lowering those. And that's one of the biggest things going right now, because they have a bill going in that. But it just gives you a solid foundation to start with. When you start out a PTA, it gives you something, you have a set goals, they give you bylaws to go by. It makes it stronger, more legal. That's what it really helps with. Whereas a PTO, they're a little more liberal on what they can and cannot do. Whereas with being PTA, with our bylaws, we can. It makes us safer. Our money, we pay insurance, we have bonding insurance that keeps us bonded. But we get that through the National PTA. So we can sign checks and nothing can be embezzled. It's all insured. That's really, when they started this 3 years ago, that was one of the things they asked about trying to go PTA or PTO. And that's why they really wanted to go that route. It's because it's the structure alone is what makes us a better group. Yes, Ms. Nash.
To speak to that, we had been PTO for years, and this is my 30th year here. And we fought long and hard to switch from PTO to PTA because of all the things you are available to you at the national level. They have a website, National PTA. There is all kinds of help out there for parents. And we had a lady come and we were trying to vote to switch over from PTO to PTA, and she spoke and passed out pamphlets and gave all the information. And like the reflections program you're talking about, that is only through PTA.
Watchdogs.
And my son he even got an honorable mention for the reflection. So I'm a real supporter of PTA, but you might have the PTA, someone from the higher organization come out and bring the pamphlets or something to share it, so to let them know what all is available, because I don't think parents really know what's available.
Yes, that's another thing she did bring up. We do have Reflections, Watchdog program. That's all ran through PTA. Those are fantastic programs, and you wouldn't have these if you had PTO. So yes, you pay your dues to national and state, but this is what you're getting back with it. And it does aid in the school. It's wonderful programs.
What percent of our dues goes to that?
You pay, right now I have dues at $5. We pay $3.25 to state and to national. The rest we keep. We also pay about $25 a year to the council, which is Pulaski Council. other than that, we keep it, and right now, we're not really seeing a lot of it because we're giving it back to the students, giving it back to each class. Does that answer your question?
The dues are $5?
Yes.
How many of those $5 goes to the school? How many of those $5 goes to keep paying dues?
You
Like
pay
ours?
annual dues.
Right.
And then $3.25 goes to state and national. And then we keep $1.75. And $1 for every person's dues go into their child's or children's special account for their classrooms. If you have a family, it's $10 per family. $2 of that will go into that student's. And if you have 3 students, that's $6 so some of that we pay out of pocket because we feel that having more members is more valuable. Because we can hear from you, you are a voice, and that's very important to us. Any other questions?
I do, sorry. Whoever can hear me. I like the special classroom fund because that's really neat, and I like to support my classroom too, a lot.
Yes.
The only concern I have as far as like the money is, what if their class doesn't have as many as my class, and you're giving more money to my class than them to buy, for my class to go on field trips or and or the other, or if maybe parents can volunteer a pack of paper once a month, or something like that to help with the supplies, and then use the money that we were doing for special trips to fund the things like shade or more things that we can use like money on, instead of breaking up by every class, and that leaves us no money, when maybe asking parents, hey, can you bring a pack of pens one day, and you bring some crayons, and then just kind of ask the teachers what they need, and then because if we're here to help and not just give $5 every year, that may be something too, because some of us have those those accesses to bring supplies to the school and kind of help just more than one class if we know what you need.
Right.
Instead of always being money and maybe some donations or something. So
The thing with field trips, we have seen each class is allotted four field trips a year. Some classes didn't take that, or they had problems. They're so expensive. It costs a lot of money for transportation.
right.
It's sometimes about $200 just for a bus. That crazy.
Yeah. I work
And we
trains
had
in the military,
problems
so I work trains in the military, so I got the budget part of that, so on it, but
it's expensive.
right, very expensive. But as far as just like pushing that money to that class up front and leaving us with no money, I mean,
But when you look
Well,
at how much money y'all are giving to these classes individually, how much is that? Is that $20 that's in their account?
We start out with $10 each.
You don't know what it's going to
Then
be.
you
because-
accumulate by bringing in box tops, fundraisers.
Right, but say over
each-
the next 4 months, you bump that up to $25.
Some classes already have $40.
Okay,
and
say
that's-
$40. That's a drop in the bucket, really, compared to the money you're talking about. But if you pulled all that into one larger project, it seems like a much more long-term.
Oh, yes, and that's what we encourage. If you have 3 classes that have $50 each, that's $150. 3 of those classes, if they get on one bus, that may make the field trip either free or $1 per kid.
But he's talking
Whereas
about
it used to
field
be
trip.
$10 per kid.
But we're talking long term. Like my daughter's in 1st grade, but he'll be coming to this school in 2 more years. What we do now is going to benefit the younger kids coming up, not just the field trip right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, does that make
Well,
sense?
that was one of my concerns about getting playground equipment, because I have a 3rd grader, I have a pre-care. The amount of money it costs to put in a piece of equipment, my kids won't see that. That was my problem with that, is people want to see it now. We don't want to see it 3 or 4 years from now trying to bring in the money for that, because you have to pay for the playground equipment plus 30% to install it. And yes, I have talked to the air base about it.
Yeah.
I kind of got the cold shoulder on it, but you kind of got to have them install it in order for the school to be happy.
Yeah.
And plus the shipping freight, they don't tell you that. And then when I'm asking this, a piece of equipment started out at $2,500 ends up being $6,000 after all that. And it was one little piece of equipment that spin that 3 kids could use. I wanted one of those big giant conglomerates. You're looking at anywhere from 30,000 or more. Yeah. And for us to do that, we're gonna have to have some giant fundraisers to bring that in, and I would.
So our goal, we're doing short-term goals and not long-term. Is basically
Correct.
we want to see it now, and we're not gonna
For
focus
right
on
now.
the future. Okay, just checking.
Yes, Ms. Nash.
Sorry, it's me.
It's
I
okay.
just want to thank you all for the help you gave second grade with our field trip last year, because we could not have afforded our field trip, and it was an on-site field trip where a rodeo queen brought out all her animals, and we had a mock rodeo. We could not have afforded that if it weren't for you, so we really appreciate it. The kids learned a lot, it covered our standards, and it just really helped us. So the kids really do see the short term, because that was a great learning experience.
Yes, it was. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
How about the funds that the teachers don't use at the end of the year that you said are dissolved? How about they go into a long-term fund versus
That's a good idea. I like that idea.
just taking?
And they don't always have to use it just for field trips. They can use it on classroom, if they need things for their classroom, as long as it benefits those students. That's what we're saying. It's not fair, you know, the parents are bringing that in, but then the next generation gets to use it. No, we're just saying it has to be used for those students. And yes, they can use it for other things as they see needed, but we were encouraging it for those. Last year, we've seen a lot of people not able to afford a few dollars to send their children on field trips. So this year, we didn't want to hear that, you know, this way to make it possible and equal for everyone. Yes, Ms. Whitfield.
I know your name and just sitting, I'm sorry. But what I hear, a lot of, and what I hear, you saying, a big fundraiser, if you say 25% of the funds will go toward a long-term project, or 15% of the fall festival, I understand short-term, and you know, I understand parents want to see something right away. Children want to see something. And we've had the conversation about playground equipment. Yeah, a decent piece of equipment is like $20,000 plus shipping, plus installation, so you end up being about $40,000. But I think also if you say a certain percent of these big things will go in a fund toward those things, and your children may not see that, but some children will benefit from that, you know, down the road. And I think you have the best of both worlds. You have those short-term things, but then you also have a goal that you're working toward. We can all see when the money comes in,